What's up guys? In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can reframe any negative situation that happened to you and turn it into something empowering so that you can move from a new empowered state. Let's face it, life treats us sometimes with events that are not the great, that are the best, that are not what we want, not what we expect, maybe not even what we deserve, but that's the way it is. What I want you to realize straight away, and that's the most important point, is that what happened, the event, the fact, and the story, the meaning that you create about the event are two different things. We may think it's the same thing because we often see what happened through the lens of our story, but in reality, it's two different things. What we do though is that what happened creates automatically a story so fast, we get entangled mentally and emotionally in it, that we start to see what happened through the lens of the story. And that's when we lose our power, because if the story here is limiting, is negative, or is feeding stress, anxiety, anger, stress, and all these other emotions, it's going to drive not only your perception of the event, but how you think, how you feel, and what you do, and the result you get. And some people get hooked up on shit that happened so long ago, and they keep talking about it to the point that their whole life is defined by a series of unfortunate events and their story about it, about why they are where they are and why things didn't work out because of what happened and all the reasons that they have. So unfortunately, once we keep our attention and our focus and our energy on the negative story, it becomes true, it becomes who we are. So today, you may be bitter, but if that becomes a mood and that becomes, a part of how you feel every day, you become a bitter person. And now you go through life being bitter about everything. And we all know people who are angry all the fucking time, no matter what happened. They always find a reason to be pissed off. That's because everything that happens to them, they filter it to that angry story. And the shit goes on. And that's the same if you have anxiety, chronic worry, and so on. So we have to realize straight away that what happened in the story are two different things. Which then brings us to the next step, being able to accept what happened. And that can be hard, especially if it's not fair, if it's not just, and if you don't want it. But let's face it, life sometimes deals us with situations, and we have to be able to accept what happened. Because it is happened, it's usually in the past, it's behind us. That doesn't mean that we are powerless to do anything about it. But what it means is that the moment I accept the situation is the moment I can detach myself also from the story and from the resistance. So that I can realize that the story I created doesn't mean what I mean it means. It doesn't mean anything. Even though I think it's the truth because I'm so involved in the story, it doesn't mean that it's true. But also we need to ask ourselves, is this story serving a useful purpose in my life? Is this story moving me into a situation, into the desired outcome that I want? And once we accept that situation, it becomes so much easier for us to move forward. So I can accept what happened and then I can ask myself, what do I want from this? What's the solution? How do I move forward? What's my outcome? Because once we have clarity and a direction of what we want, we can now start to look for evidence. We can now start to look for a solution. We can now start to go in that direction and create a new story that will allow us to meet us there. So, for example, we can start to see that this didn't happen to me personally. It happened for me, to teach me something, to move me closer to success, to empower me. This has no power because I am stronger. Who I am is not to be defined by little things like that. I can handle this. I am here, I am safe, I am sound. People make mistakes, I can forgive, I can move on. Whatever that empowering story, empowering perspective needs to be for you to be able to disconnect this and move toward what you want. I'm going to give you an example of something that happens to me about like a week ago or something. I bought a video game. I'm a casual player. Every now and then I buy a video game, and I bought this game called Elden Ring, which is basically very famous, and I wanted to see what it is about because the review was so high, right? So I buy the game. I'm excited to play the game. I put the game in my PS4, and the freaking game is in Chinese. Everything is in Chinese. So I'm completely lost. I can't play for shit because I cannot read anything. That's what it is. That's what happened. So I go in the language. I try to change the language. I cannot see because everything is in Chinese. I go on Google. I Google it. And basically I find out that the game is geo-locked. And the only available language in Asia, which is where I am, are Chinese and Japanese and Korean and Thai and all those Asian languages. So I'm stuck with a game I can't play because English is not supported. That's what happened. The story I created is that it's fucking bullshit. We're in 2022, how the fuck can they do that? This is a ripoff, I want my money back. How the fuck am I supposed to play? It should have been mentioned on the package, whatever. All that story that is unfair got me really angry. And I was angry to the point where I wanted to lash out. I wanted to call them, send an email. I wanted them to know about my frustration. Is this a good state to be? No. Is this overreacting? Yes. But the anger was so present in that moment that it affected me even the next day. Until I was able to be like, yo, calm down. What happened is that the game is in fucking Chinese. Nobody gives a fuck. It doesn't matter. Either ask for your money back and buy another game in English or whatever, move on. What can you do about it? There's so little. I cannot change the game in English. I don't know how to fucking do that. So when I separated my story from what happened, it gave me power to choose again. It gave me power to focus on what do I want. Well, I want my money back if it's unplayable. Okay, what can I do? I can reach out and ask for this. Well, wonderful. And then the more I was thinking about what I want, the less the whole story mattered. And now I started to actually look at it from a different place. I started to look at it, well, that's a good story to tell. It's a good story to tell on my next video. And I realized that this actually doesn't matter because 100 years from now, it's not gonna matter. A year from now, it's not gonna matter. My peace of mind is so important that this game being in Chinese doesn't actually fucking matter. What matters more is that I remain, with my peace of mind, I remain committed to what I want, committed to create the life I want. And what will move me there is this experience of practicing separating my story from little things, little disappointment that happen in life, and notice that I can handle it. Notice that what I imagine, the meaning, the story, is often not what it really means. Because I can choose what it means. And that's the beauty of us human beings. We can choose what something means. And the moment I chose that it doesn't matter, it's okay. I'll handle it. I'll do something great about it. Anger was gone. So this is a small, example, of course, because it's not a big thing, but most of the things that piss us off are not big. They're meaningless in nature, but we give them so much energy that they can become huge. But this always applies. So you gotta notice what happened is different than the story. You gotta accept what happened. Acceptance releases resistance. And then you gotta ask yourself, is this story true? Is this really what it means? Am I taking things personally? What else could it mean? And then you can ask yourself, what can I do about this situation? If there is anything to be done, what do I want out of this? What else can I do? How do I move from here? That puts you into a actionable, moving forward toward what I want state of mind. And then you can get started.